Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for audience there. Today I would like to present a presentation about a paper with title Comparison of Assessment Instrument Model according to KPK, KTSP, and 2013 curriculum. Before we start to discuss about the content of paper, let me introduce myself. My name is Teman Daya Pribadi, and my number is 16155000062, and I'm from 8B class. These videos and paper arranged to fulfill the assignment of seminar on ELT subject. As we know that education is a need for human life and have important role as welfare improvement effort and asset for us to face the demand of time that keep changing. In order to improve the effectiveness of learning process and education program success, government have applied various curriculum that develop according to the way of thinking in its time and technology progress. And at this time, Indonesia have already changed many curriculum. Some of the new curriculum in Indonesia education is KPK, KTSP, and Kotilas. Because the curriculum arrange developed in order to fulfill learning need, then curriculum shall be different. In this case, KPK, KTSP, and curriculum 2013 have different in various aspects learning, such assessment. From the background, before we will answer the question, what is comparison of assessment instrument model according KPK, KTSP, and Kotilas? In KPK assessment, there are 5 assessments. The first is class assessment, which purpose to knowing result and progress of student, diagnose learning obstacle, giving feedback for learning process improvement, and determination of class promotion through daily exam, general exam, and final exam. And basic ability test is test implemented in every year in purpose to know reading, writing, counting abilities that need in order to improve learning program. And the third is final assessment of education unit and certification that held in every final semester and school year to get a description about student learning completeness in certain time. And then benchmarking is a standard to measure performance progressing process and result to achieve satisfied advantage. Advantage size able to decide in school or region level. And the last is program assessment. This assessment purpose to know sweetness of curriculum with basic function, national education goal, society development, and progress of time. The next is for KTSP assessment. There are written tests, is tests in written form that measure student competence in cognitive aspect. Which student could be answer question in writing sentences, coloring, giving sign, drawing graphic or diagram, and so on. There are 2 forms of writing test instrument. The first is objective and the second is non-objective. For objective, the example is multiple choice, true or false, fill in the blank, and pairing. And for non-objective, the example is fill in the blank, structured essay, free essay, verbal and verbal question. And the second is performance in assessment. Assessment that test taker us to demonstrate and apply the knowledge and skill in various contexts. with various tasks and situations. For example, is demonstration, speech, discussion, interview, debate, storytelling, and etc. The third is portfolio assessment. It's a systematic and organized assessment that done along a time period to test taker creation or work. The portfolio assessment have some goal to appreciate test taker development, document learning progress, and giving attention to student work. The example of this assessment is poetry and paper. And the next is project assessment. In this assessment is defined as investigation from submitting, organizing, evaluating until data presenting that shall be done in certain period. The example of the project assessment is when plan or organizing investigation, team working, and self-direction. And then the next is product assessment. Is assessment toward skill in creating and quality of certain product through two stages of assessment. And then attitude assessment is assessment toward attitude and student belief toward object or phenomenon, which can be done from attitude observation or direct question. And the last for KTSP assessment is self-assessment, which done by teacher or related student for management necessary of learning and teaching process. And then the next is Curtilas assessment. For Curtilas assessment, it's using authentic assessment. It's different with KTSP and KPK that combine three aspects. The first aspect is knowledge or cognitive, and then skill, and the third is attitude. And for the attitude assessment, the aspects are done through observation, indirectly or directly. And self-assessment, assessment to reflect and tell their weakness and strength or their self. And peer assessment, the assessment allows students to assess attitude of each other. And then the last is teacher journal, information about student observation related with attitude. From the KTSP attitude assessment, we can see that the assessment determined by direct question, self-assessment, and observation, while in K13 attitude assessment aspect determined by 4 ways: observation, self-assessment, peer assessment, and teacher journal. And then the next is cognitive assessment. In implementation of Curtilas, there are three ways to for cognitive assessment. The first is written test, and the second is verbal test. It's like giving question by teacher and giving a question by teacher verbally and answered by student. And then the next is assignment test. The third skill assessment. The third aspect is skill assessment. There are three ways to apply. The first is from performance assessment. A task that student to do in apply knowledge and skill in real situation. And the next is project assessment. That assessment is through tasks in certain period. And the last is portfolio assessment. An assessment through creation result of student. From the discussion before, we can conclude that every curriculum in Indonesia created to fulfill student learning need. The development of new curriculum create to perfect the previous curriculum. The last curriculum in Indonesia is KPK, KTSP, and K13, which have various comparison, especially in assessment instrument. Yeah, that's all I can tell about this paper. Thank you very much for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.